So imagine a penguin just randomly showing up at your doorstep. I know many people worry about a baby showing up, but a penguin? That's a whole other beast entirely. But you see, that's exactly what happened to Mr. Popper. Hey, and welcome to my reading journal where today I'm going to be diving into the well beloved children's novel, Mr. Popper's Penguins. Now, I originally read this book back in middle school, and I recall it being hyped up and a really popular book. So I reread it recently, and I have some thoughts. So, to start off, I wanted to dive a little bit into the production of this book and imagine the shock on my face when I found out that this book was not only written by a couple, Richard and Florence Atwater, but that Richard was originally writing the book, but after having a stroke which left him unable to speak or write, his wife finished it for him. Now that is true love. Anyway, the book was originally published in 1938, with the story taking place in the 1930s. So I'm gonna go ahead and provide you guys with the synopsis of the book. I'm not gonna read it. So if you did want to pause the video, you got like 3 seconds. Three, two, one. All right. So next, moving on to my first thoughts, and without really spoiling anything, the first thing is that I like the simplicity of the story. Two, Mr. Popper is a man that still has wonders and curiosity in his soul, which I honestly think is really fitting for the main character of a children's book. Three, the penguins obviously are a highlight of the book. But four, unfortunately, the book is very quick and short, so we don't really get many things fleshed out. Now I'm gonna move to spoiler territory, so if you want to skip to see my rating, please go to the time shown on the screen. I'm gonna give about 3 seconds. Alright, so I'm gonna do a really quick breakdown of the plot just to get your memory jogged, or at least give you context in case you've never read the book. So one day at the beginning of summer slash beginning of fall, Mr. Popper comes home after painting his last house until the spring. And in the first couple of pages, we learn about his desire to explore, learn about the world, and all the stuff that he missed out because he had a family and settled down. We also meet Mrs. Popper, whom is thinking more realistic and worries about the potential money issues that are coming down the line since it's going to be winter and he's not working anymore. Later the next day, Mr. Popper receives a delivery from Admiral Drake, an explorer that he's always listened to, and in the delivery box was a penguin. Now, he keeps the penguin and names the penguin. The penguin is named Captain Cook, and Mr. Popper and the family begin making accommodations in the house to make Captain Cook comfortable and happy. A couple days pass by, and Captain Cook starts to get low leveled in energy, and the family starts worrying about his health and thinking that he's not going to make it. But then a zoo sends him another lonely penguin that they had. So now Mr. Popper has two penguins. The second one is named Greta, and the penguins are happy together. And again, the family makes accommodations in the house, and soon Captain Cook and Greta have 12 baby penguins. Again, the family has to make accommodations for the penguins, but taking care of all these penguins has started to deplete the savings that the Poppers had for the winter. So Mr. Popper comes up with an idea to get money and pretty much become an act at the local theater. And they do just that and more. The penguins perform a marching routine, sparring routine, and sliding routine, and then the crowd loves it. The manager of the theater loves it, and they ended up getting a contract for the penguins to perform nationwide. So they hit the road and they become this national sensation. But by the time that spring comes around, the penguins start to get more uncomfortable just because of the climate and the temperature. And Mr. Popper agrees to take the penguins to the North Pole with Admiral Drake. And that's pretty much the whole story. Oh, and Mr. Popper ends up in jail for a couple of pages. So, do you remember when I said that I like the simplicity of the story? I do. But because it's so simple and it's quick, it doesn't really lend itself to flesh out ideas or themes or even character growth with its own arcs and everything. But honestly, considering the context and the circumstances in which this book was written in, again, what happened with Richard and Florence having to step in and finish it for him, I can overlook it and just enjoy this simple and fun and imaginative story that we have. But one thing that I do really wish that this book had out of everything was just a strong character arc for any of the characters realistically. When you look at Mr. Popper, He technically does go from a point A to a point B. He starts off as a humble um, person who wanted to explore, has the desires to, but because he has a family, he settled down. That's not in the cards for him. And then at the end of the book, he is traveling to the North Pole with Admiral Drake to go leave the penguins there. And I, so yeah, you have your character going from point A to point B, but honestly, that's based out of luck, and it's not really because there was an arc that he went through. When you think of other characters, Mrs. Popper, she for the most part was two dimensional. She cared about cleaning the house, making sure that the house was tidy. She did care about money, and granted, that part valid, very very valid. But those were her two main worries. And even with the penguins, she didn't really want the penguin at first. But again, not because it's just this random creature. It's because she wanted the house tidy. But when she saw that the penguin wasn't really going to be making a mess or anything like that, she was pretty much okay with the penguin there, and she was okay with making all these accommodations at the house for the penguins. And then even when you look at the kids, they don't can really bring much to the story. They are a part of the family. They do share enthusiasm for the penguins, but again, they are pretty much two-dimensional kids, not really much there. I also mentioned that the penguins were a highlight of the book, and they were. They were the whole point of the book. But I cannot lie to you, the penguins were not really memorable to me. I can recall Captain Cook and Greta's name because I had just finished the book last night and they were in the synopsis. But could I remember their names in a couple weeks? I don't know. And could I tell you more about them? Not necessarily. Could I name the other penguins? Honestly, probably not. And while that's a shame, it's also not the end of the world. The penguins did their job. They were curious, they were goofy, and the writing did a good job of allowing me to visualize their behavior. So while I might not recall specific penguins in the future, the general positive feeling that the penguins brought is what I'll remember from this book. Alright, so now it's time to see what I rated this book. So out of 5 stars, my rating for this book is 3.5 stars. I cannot justify giving this book more than that. I did enjoy it, but it was more of a content feeling than anything else. So that's why I'm giving it 3.5. What's really holding it back really is that absence of character growth or character arcs that really make me care about the story. Um, Also, if the book just had a more intriguing plot, that could have also boosted it up. But because it's so short and really simple, you can't really do much. And also, I don't understand why other people. So, context, after I finished the book, I did go to see what other people thought about it. More specifically, the people that gave it like 1 stars. And there were people who were like bashing the logistics of this book. And, like, granted, does this book make sense from a real world perspective? Honestly, as other people have pointed out, not really. Like, you have an explorer whose whole job is exploring and science and preservation and stuff, right? That's their jobs. They have this explorer send this random stranger who has only ridden them once a real life penguin. That is obviously not real. And to the people who get mad at the book because of this, this book was not going to be realistic. You literally have a person taking care of a penguin in a suburban area. Like, come on, it's not going to be realistic. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to see future videos. Also, give this video a like and make sure you comment down any thoughts you have on this book or comment down your favorite penguin or favorite penguin moments. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.